Hey guys, so in honor of HomeWorx's official on-air launch on HSN today, April 1st, I do have a few candle reviews for HomeWorx. And today we have the Spun Vanilla Sugar, which is the HSN exclusive candle, as well as the Apricot Cobbler that will come up next. So yeah, these are available exclusively on HSN, so you can't get them on QVC. Originally, they were like $47 plus $7.50 shipping, I think is what I paid for it. But they have lowered the price a little bit since then to like $44 and $5.50 shipping. And it seems to have sort of stayed there for the time being. So they are a little bit pricier than the usual HomeWorx candles. So yeah, the notes on this read blend of spun sugar, whipped cream, sugar, lemon, and vanilla. So yeah, I've already like sort of talked about this in my haul video, but figured I'd just do a post-burn review just for the performance and all that kind of stuff just to wrap it up. So basically what this smells like, it's like a nice, decent, fluffy, delicious vanilla, sugar type of fragrance. I was hoping, when you hear like spun sugar, I was hoping for like a cotton candy type fragrance, but there are like no notes of like strawberries or raspberry or blue raspberry or anything like that in here that would, usually indicate a cotton candy scent. So this is not at all a cotton candy scent in my opinion. What I mainly get is a sort of like a fluffy, sugar fragrance mixed with vanilla sugar, I should say, mixed with just a little bit of caramel. The caramel's not super heavy, but it's just enough in there to like give the fragrance a little bit of like just strength or depth, and it's not just a plain vanilla fragrance. It's not like the creamy dreamy vanilla from the ice cream shop one. That was more like a vanilla bean fragrance, like you distinctly knew it was vanilla, whereas this one has a little bit more going on with it, and I think it's just the caramel note in it. That it does come off as sort of like a caramel vanilla fragrance to me. Sort of think of like maybe vanilla ice cream and then they shoved in like caramel syrup into it and mixed it in there. That's sort of what it reminds me of. Or even like a sheet cake with like frosting on it, and the frosting happen to have like traces of caramel in it. Or even it sort of sometimes reminds me of like flan sometimes, in the way that it has that sort of like a vanilla sweet sugary like dessert component mixed with some kind of like caramel drizzle or something on top of it. So anything like that, it's like pretty much a vanilla fragrance, but there's enough caramel in there that it doesn't stand as a just singular vanilla bean fragrance as you would might get in like vanilla bean marshmallow from BBW, or even the creamy dreamy vanilla from HomeWorx previously. I feel like I do indeed detect quite a bit of caramel in there. I think the notes on the full notes actually say warm vanilla sugar is spun with a touch of delicate caramel. So yeah, it also lists lemon as a note. I don't at all get that whatsoever. There's nothing citrus or even zesty or lemon at all about this. It's just a vanilla caramel or caramel vanilla scent. Pretty straightforward. It's nice. It's decent. I was hoping for a cotton candy scent, but if you want something that's just like a pretty like pleasant, standard vanilla plus kind of fragrance, this is it. It's very guest friendly, not at all offensive. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the fragrance. Let me get into the performance. So this is like way beyond the halfway point. I've been burning it for many, many, many days now. This has significantly different wicks from every other 4 wick that I've burned from HomeWorx this season. They are indeed a lot stronger, sturdier, and thicker. They're like these flat braided type wicks that are just overall thicker and sturdier than any of the other more fragile ones that you find in the 4 wick candles that tend to give you issues, except for this one just brings like a new set of issues with it, which is quite a bit of a bummer. But so what happens is they're much thicker and sturdier, and so what happens is they create very, very, very vicious flames. The flames are super high, like much higher than you see here. Like this is with them trimmed very shortly. So like prior to trimming them, which was how I was operating the candle, because normally with the HomeWorx 4 wicks, you don't want to over trim them because they'll just kill the candle off completely, and then you'll end up with a dud and it won't pull out correctly. So normally I don't at all trim these HomeWorx 4 wick. I trim them very minimally, rather, is what I should say. But just very carefully. But on this one, the first, like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 burns, it was just like sooting, like just madness, like just so much soot. This is just, it's distinctly different wick from all the other ones. So I think this one just burns a lot hotter and a lot more viciously, a lot more wicked, and then in turn it soots just like no other. Like I just, even with like no air draft or no movement or whatever, you put in a hurricane, it doesn't matter if there's just like shoots so like crazy. It was pretty intense. You can see there in the like top area. To like the above the left wick that you see on screen right there, there is like black sooting and smoke, and there's also quite a bit of it on the other side that you can't see, that's like hidden by the camera or the angle or whatever. The opposite side also has some of that black smoke, and it was just like sooting like crazy, and I was just like, this is insane. Like I just don't want to keep burning this candle when there's this much soot coming out of it. So what I was doing, and I was trimming them like still minimally, but even with just like minimal trimmage, it was still sooting just viciously. And you can even see, like, I think some of the newer ones that they're releasing have these thicker grade wicks that burn better, but soot a lot more. And on air, when they were presenting the root beer float one, you could actually see when they like panned in on the close up of the root beer float candle burning on set, you could actually see the soot coming off of it. And I was like, oh, those must be the same wicks as these. The apricot cobbler one does not have these wicks, but this one does, and it seems like going forward, maybe a few more are going to have that, so just keep that in mind. So what I did was later on, I trimmed them a lot shorter, and in their like official marketing and video marketing and literature, they instruct you not to trim the wicks whatsoever, but I just can't ever imagine not trimming them, because these create like pretty huge, like drooping flat like mushroom tops, or like accumulation of the debris or whatever. And they become quite vicious and very sooty, that I was just like, there's no way I would ever not trim these, because you would just end up with such a dangerously sooting candle that burns incredibly way too hot. I think it would just be like a hazard at that point, that I still definitely trim these. But even with minimal trimmage, you still get quite a bit of soot. So what I did was I just lopped them off like generously, not completely, still left like small little nubs or wicks on there. And then what happened was, because these do burn so hot and dark and like just sooty, as you can see, the wax spool has turned completely like brown and murky and very dirty, and there's just like swirling soot all up in it. And that's just happening because, as you see, it's still burning and pooling fine. It's just that now the wicks, these type of wicks, they're just, I guess, so much more sooty and black that they touch the wax spool, because the wicks are so much shorter now, and then they get black and murky, and it starts smelling burnt and grody. So just a new set of dilemma with these wicks. So I don't know. I guess if you don't mind sooting in your walls in your house, then just leave them be and let them burn viciously. But it was like an alarming amount of soot coming off of these. So just a little heads up on that. But other than that, the throw on it, when it was burning viciously and sooting quite a bit, since it was like going through the wax and the oils at a regular rate and all that kind of stuff, it was throwing like a good, I would say like a six to a 7. It wasn't the strongest candle ever, but I could still smell it. Anywhere from like a 5 to a 7, I would say it varied from. It wasn't house filling, at least not in my experience. You could smell it adequately in a, regular room. I mean, it wasn't even, I wouldn't even say necessarily it was room filling in like a living room, but I could still smell it adequately. And then obviously you could smell it strong in a bedroom. So I would say it ranges anywhere from like a 5 to a 7, depending on the size room that you have. It was adequate, and I didn't have any complaints about it. Obviously, now that it has like started getting murky and dwindled and started smelling burnt and sooty and smoky, it has diminished quite a bit, and I would say it's more into like a 3 or a 4, and I do struggle to smell it at times. Obviously, that was for my own choice of trimming the wicks shortly, but I sort of would rather trim them rather than having soot all over my house. So I guess it's just a compromise there. So that's what the performance was on this. Overall, obviously, I want to repurchase this candle. I'm sort of scared to burn the second one just because I don't want the sooting action again. It's just like, what do I do? Do I just deal with like a, dudding black murky candle? Or do I just let it soot? I'm not really sure. The scent is all right. Is it like a $50 to $60, oh my God, wow, quality fragrance? Not really, not in my opinion. Like, I think it just depends on how much you like vanilla / caramel fragrances, and I'm just not super huge on it. If it was like the world's greatest cotton candy fragrance, then maybe I would be willing willing to dish out the $50 or $60 again, but certainly not a repurchase with the performance that I have here. And the fragrance, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not, oh wow, spectacular that I need to repurchase it at the $50 to $60. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I'll do with the second one, but we'll see. Yeah, just the wicks on this one were very just sooty and just crazy. So just heads up on that. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.